What is up, ALLIEG Show fam? I'm your host, ALLIEG. Welcome back for another track of the pod. As you all know, this podcast lives at the intersection of movement, mindset, and music. The highs, the lows, the comeback stories, the long training cycles, as I'm in one right now, and the start lines that change us. Whether you are listening mid-run, mid-walk, post-workout, on your commute, or just soaking in some inspiration today, I strongly believe that you are exactly where you're supposed to be, and I am so glad that you are here with us on the ALLIEG Show. Before we dive in, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Backline Running. They create the best performance gear, I promise you the best, that actually moves with you, whether you are grinding through winter miles like I've been, or tackling a marathon build like I have also been, or you're just getting started. Backline has you covered. Go show them some love and support the brands that support this wonderful running community that we all know and love. A little discount code is also in my show notes and in my pod Instagram bio, so check them out. And as always, let me know what you get because you know I love merch. Anyway, today's track is all about Amanda Palumbo. I am so excited for you all to hear this because we are talking all about Amanda's experience at the 2025 New York City Marathon, running for her son with cerebral palsy and raising over $30,000 for CPARF. We are taking all of that race day magic from Staten Island Ferry to the Queensboro Bridge, and we are talking everything in between. This episode is about motherhood, partnership, community, and doing hard things even when you're not sure if you can. So lace up, grab your headphones, and let's get into it. Amanda, I am so excited to have you on the pod. I can't wait to get to know you. I've heard so much about you from Eric, who produces my pod, because I think you had a little moment on the subway on the way to the New York City Marathon last year, which I can't wait to hear about. But when he was telling me your story, it immediately stuck out to me. And yeah, especially the way you brought people together and brought people into this experience through music and fundraising. I want to hear about all of it and your race day, all the things in between. But before we get into that, I would love for you to tell the listeners who you are. So, Amanda, who are you? Where are you from? What do you do when you're not running or doing anything outside of fitness-related things?
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited. I told my husband this is like the epitome of cool. I've never been this cool to be on a podcast before. So I'm like super honored. Thank you for asking me. My name is Amanda Palumbo. I am a mom, first and foremost, of 3 little babes. The oldest one is 5, and the youngest one, who I'm sure we will talk much more about, has cerebral palsy, and he's the reason that I got involved in running at this level. I live in the Hudson Valley of New York, and I just love being able to work with people and just do good in my work, and I try to do good in my life too.
I love that. Thank you for that. And of course, I mean, you're honored to be here. I'm honored to have you because I'm not a mom, so I know like time is precious for you. So thank you so much for being here.
Well, my husband's on duty right now. If I get a visitor, I apologize in advance. There's a good chance.
No apology necessary. My dogs aren't here right now, but usually it's one of them like jumping up behind me and going crazy and pulling out the cord of my mic. So I get it. All right. So let's go back to the beginning because I always love hearing about how people find running, especially when like a marathon enters the picture in a really unexpected way, or maybe an expected way. I never know. But take us back to the beginning if you can. When did running first become a part of your life? Was it recent? Was it a long time ago?
Yeah, so marathon came into my life very unexpected way. I'll start there by saying never been a runner, have always disliked running. I was a swimmer. I swam in college. That's where I met my husband. And I've always been, athletic, and I stuck with swimming. I took a little break from it when I was out of college and actually got into biking. I taught indoor cycling for 10 years, which was like so super fun. I would still do it if I didn't have 3 kids, but it was a really, really, really fun thing that I love doing. I dabbled in triathlons a little bit, but being a swimmer doing triathlons is really fun because you get out of the water first. But then I don't know if you know this in triathlons, like they write your age in the back of your calf. So I do pretty good in the swim. I get out of the water in a good spot. I do okay in the cycle. And then on the run, everybody would just be flying by me, like 20 years my senior, just completely kicking my butt. So Running has always been difficult for me. I was a sprinter when I was a swimmer. So even if I did run, it was like quick lap around the neighborhood as fast as I could go. And that's about all I knew about running. The first race that I ever did was in college, and my college coach lapped me in a 5K, like actually did it twice and was like, come
Wow.
on, Amanda, you can finish. So never thought that
Okay,
I would
that's
get
mean.
into marathon running, but here I am.
Wow. I love that. It's so funny that you said that because triathlons really scare me because I can swim. I know how to swim. I just like it was never my thing. So I love that like yours was the complete opposite. And then I actually started this whole like fitness thing. Like I've always been a runner, but I started cycling. Like I've just went like on the stationary bike, and that was how I started. And then I was like, all right, I need to actually like move and go somewhere as opposed to just sitting on the bike. But I loved it. It was the best. The bike was so fun, and it really plays a part into like everything you do with running. So that's
Yeah.
really cool. Was the New York City Marathon your first one? Like your
Yes.
first full? Oh
Yeah, oh, yeah, it
wow.
was my first full, and in my training, I did my first ever half. So it was
Oh my
really like
God.
a big leap, me jumping into doing this.
Wait, I love that. I can't wait to hear more. I'm trying not to get ahead of myself here because I always want to immediately ask like all the great questions. So you said it came in unexpectedly. Like how did it come to be that you were running New York? When did you find out? Like what was your immediate reaction?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, so much. Okay, so I turned 40 this year. And so it's kind of been one of those like if I'm ever going to do something crazy like that, I would do it before I was 40. And I've always had that in my mind, never ever thinking I would do it. I have a son, my youngest son has cerebral palsy. And we got his diagnosis January of last year, so just about a year. In fact, we were at his
Oh wow.
neurologist yesterday, so I guess it's about exactly a year. And when we got that diagnosis, I just was overwhelmed with what do I do with this? Like there's so many unanswered questions, and I joined a bunch of like the mom groups for other families that have similar diagnosis, and it just got like so overwhelming. I was like I need an outlet for this, and I just started
Yes.
running just to like just have some way to just I had all this energy I needed something to do with. Um
Mhm.
in January, and it was really cold.
Yeah.
But
I was gonna
then I
say.
was like, maybe I'll just like apply to do the marathon. So I was on the Cerebral Palsy Alliance Research Foundation website trying to get some information. And they had a little thing that popped up that said, run with us. We have a New York City team. And I was like, maybe I'll just apply. And I may have had a glass of wine or two, and I wrote what apparently was a very heartfelt application because a few months later, I got the email that I had gotten in, and I just couldn't believe it. Like, I remember staring at my phone, like, what? Does this even happen? Do people even get in this way? And distinctly remember coming downstairs, my husband and my son's caregiver were down there. I said, I think I just got in to run the New York City Marathon. And they were just so excited, like, yeah, you got this. And
Oh.
then I had to figure out a plan.
Yeah. Wait, that's so awesome. I feel like the best decisions like that come after, I mean, I shouldn't probably say this on the pod, but whatever. They always come after like a glass of wine or two, for me at least in the running world, or at like 3 a.m. when I can't sleep. And even more awesome that it was for a cause that you obviously have a very close connection to and is really important to you personally. So that's really, really cool. So how much time did you actually have time? How much time did you actually have to train for the marathon then from when you found out?
So I found out in enough time. I think I'm trying to remember exactly when it was. I think it's like March when they notify. So I think I found out like, end of March. And I started running on my own, thinking I was just going to follow a plan I found on the internet, and realized pretty quickly I needed a coach to help me really figure out how to do it. Am I allowed to give a shout out to my coach because she was
I mean, yeah,
amazing?
absolutely. This is what you're here for. This is your
Yeah.
this is your podcast. I'm just here to ask the questions.
So
Shout out your
I had
coach.
an absolutely incredible coach. She's actually like a family friend from growing up here in the Hudson Valley, and she's a total badass. She's like known for running duathlons. She's just super awesome. Her name is Erica Rugi, and I'm so grateful that I was connected to her because she just was so helpful. I remember our first call and she asked me a lot of questions and I realized there was a lot of things I wasn't doing that I should be doing. And she helped me come up with a plan through Training Peaks. And it just was, I don't know how I could have done it without her.
Wow. Shout out Erica. That was a great shout out. Loved it. No, that's really cool. And it's so funny. Like I always hear from runners and they're like, I just decided to run my first marathon. And then I try to do it on my own with my own training plan. And then I hear from people like you who are like, I needed a coach. Like, do you feel like having her, obviously, aside from you guys already having prior friendship, do you feel like having her kind of held you accountable, or were you like, I see the marathon finish line and that is all I can think about? Like, did she play a big part in your motivation too? Because when I
Oh,
have people watching me, I'm afraid, no, I'm not afraid of my coaches, but like I'm afraid to do something wrong. Like, or not do it.
1000%.
Yeah.
1000%. I mean, she'd like send me a little ping like, oh, your heart rate was too fast today. You need to slow down. And I'm like, she's
Yeah.
watching.
You're like,
She
oh my God.
knows, she really is checking. I do have to do it. Oh, 1000%. She held me accountable. And then I had an awesome training partner too. So my
Aw.
neighbor who lives right next door to me is the nicest human on the planet. He is super active. He's just an awesome guy. He's always running out in the neighborhood. And he asked me if I wanted to run with him. And I was like, oh, I don't know, Mark. Like, you're a little bit like, you're just out there doing Ironmans and all that. But I did just start running with him. My first long run was with him. I had like nothing figured out. I had the wrong shoes, the wrong socks. I didn't know anything about fueling. I tried to bring a water bottle with me that I dropped halfway through because I was like, forget it.
Yep.
But I trained with him every Sunday. He did every single long run with me, at least half of it.
Wow.
And he's just super awesome guy. He turned 70 this year and he's doing a full Ironman this year. So he's just a super rock star. And I was so glad to have him there encouraging me too.
Oh, wait, that's so cool. I mean, it sounds like you had like the best group of people around you. That's so awesome. I love it. I'm smiling so much because I feel like that's exactly what like the experience a lot of people have in running is that it just brings people together in such a unique way. Like your neighbor, or, you know, like I have so many people who are like, we can't run together. And I'm like, why not? Let's do it. Right. And then you end up on 3-hour long runs with these people and your friends. And then even if you're not really that close, you become closer. It's a really special thing.
It is cool. And as part of my fundraising, we put out like a road sign saying, hey, you know, I'm running the marathon in honor of my son. And I met so many people in the neighborhood. So many of them were runners. I had another neighbor who lives a couple blocks away and, you know, we ran a few times together and now our daughters are like super tight friends. So it is really
Aw.
cool. There's such an awesome community out there in the running world.
I love that. It's so true. I like sometimes drive to my old town where I grew up and I'll do like a long run. It's really if I wake up and I procrastinate and I'm like, I need a route that I know and I can run 20 miles and like whatever. And I know where I'm going and I don't have to make anything up in my head. And sometimes I'll drive there and I do my long run and I see the same people I always used to see like 3 or 4 years ago. And I'm like, this is crazy. We're all still doing the same thing. Like we should, we should get back to running together. But backtracking a little bit on the fundraising. So you get into the marathon, you are running for CPARF.
Yes, CPARF, they call it.
You have to fundraise, and you, of course, have background in fundraising and nonprofits. And what was your approach in fundraising for this specifically?
Yeah, it's such a good question. Well, I was first really nervous because they had a $5,000 minimum. I was like,
Mhm.
ooh, I
Yeah,
think I can do that. You know, I've done some personal fundraisers before. I do it for a living, but it's different when you're asking your own friends and family. Never
totally.
raised anywhere near five before. So I was like, all right, I'll try it. And I was a little nervous having to give my credit card that if I didn't hit it,
Yeah,
I'd have to pay it. A little nervous about that. But I put it out to my community. And honestly, it was also just, it gave me a platform to talk about Miles and his diagnosis because I hadn't really shared it widely. And like, what do you do? Just post to Instagram, like, oh, by the way, like my son got this diagnosis and we have to navigate this as a family. Like that just felt weird to me. So it gave me the opportunity to share it and say, hey, I'm doing this in his honor and I'd love your support. And the first video I put out, I went for a run, I came back and I had raised $4,000. And it was like that.
Awesome.
Like it happened so just under 4, but it happened so fast. And I remember just thinking like, holy moly, I have this community of people around me that want to support me. I might cry, by the way, while we talk today.
Again, this is your podcast.
But
cry. I cry all the time, so cry.
But I couldn't believe how fast. And that was like, I just went out for a run, and that was before I was officially on a training plan. And I just kept going and going and going because I was like seeing the messages come through, and I was just like so motivating. I remember I came back, and I have a friend that shares my activity with me, and he just sent me like a hot dog. He was like, hot dang, you did it. Because I just felt so good and just kept running. And that was one of my first like true long runs.
Wow. I love to hear that. You're going to make me cry on my own podcast. No, it's really special. And I think there's something really special when you have a moment where you're like, oh my God, these people are showing up for me, friends, family, people that maybe they just met you once, twice. Right. And I think when you have those moments, you kind of have to hold on to them really tight. They're really special. Yeah. I love that. Thank you for sharing that.
So humbling to have the support of everyone around us. And so I realized pretty quickly that I was going to meet my $10,000 goal, and I decided to up it. And so I set the goal for 26.2. And that's when I came up with my little tagline, which was hashtag 26 miles for miles.
Oh, I love that. I hope you have 26 miles for miles on a t-shirt or something of some sort.
I should have worn my t-shirt. Oh, I wore my New York City.
I know, but you have it. Next time.
I did make a t-shirt. I have a visor.
Oh, wait, I love that. I love that. All right. So not to jump away from that, because I'm sure we'll talk way more about it. Let's zoom in a little bit on race day itself. So you had this whole training cycle. You had an amazing coach. It sounds like you had amazing people to run with. And New York is obviously such a production as a marathon, emotionally and logistically, I will say. Walk us through race morning. So you went through all these things, training, everything in between. You finally are at race day. Like, what time were you up? How did the day start for you? What were you feeling? What were you thinking?
Oh my gosh. Well, it started before race day, because like I documented every second from like getting on the train and going down to the city and then going to the expo. And I had a wild day the day before because the group I was fundraising for did a breakfast, which was so nice. And then the company that I work for, we also have runners that do New York. And so we hosted a luncheon. And then I had best friends from New York City, or excuse me, my best friends from Florida flew up to be here. So I had dinner with them. So I had like such a busy day that by the time I got back to my hotel the day before, I was pooped. I was so ready, and I was trying to stay off my feet all day, but it's hard to do. There was a lot going on.
Never happens. Never happens.
I don't even know what time I woke up, but I don't even know how much I slept because I was just so excited too. But I woke up, and the first thing I saw is I opened up my phone, and friends of mine from Hawaii that live in Hawaii had sent me a picture of themselves wearing the t-shirt, because I did it as like part of the fundraiser. I sold them out, that they were like, they're in Hawaii. So they had already been up for a while, or excuse me, reverse style. They were like going to bed as I'm waking up, and they sent me, that was the first thing I saw. So I woke up like, yes. And I woke up and saw that my fundraising was up to like $27,000 that morning. I couldn't believe it. It was so exciting. And then I got really nervous. Like, what do I do now? I got to like navigate the subway. I got to like find my way. I took the ferry. So I think I was like the 8:15 ferry. I'm trying to remember. I definitely went too early and had more time in the village than I needed, but I needed it. So that was okay.
It's okay. Sometimes you need that.
Yeah, no, I feel like I'm like a person that needs a little bit of extra time just to make sure.
Yeah.
Rushed wouldn't have been good.
No, especially after like so much excitement in the days leading up, and the expo itself, like the luncheons, the expo, everything is so exciting the whole weekend.
Oh, the bell ringing, like everything, because I was a first timer, right? So they ring the bell all over the place. The expo
they love
everything about it was just so amazing. And then I walked out of my hotel, and just as I had read online, everybody outside was a runner. Like there was no question of which direction to go, because you just like get in the sea of runners. Like it's like so obvious, you know who to follow. Everybody's got their little clear bag. And I made my way to the subway, which is where I met Eric and Hannah.
It's so funny. Eric's like, you have to talk to Amanda. I'm like, I am talking to Amanda. I'm like, don't steal her for your podcast. She's coming on my podcast. No, I love that. And he was telling me all about you and Miles and your story. And yeah, like I said at the beginning, I was just so inspired and excited to hear. But so yeah, you made it. You braved the subway. You made it. And
Well, I
then you
thank
get to
God I
Staten
ran
Island.
into Eric and Hannah, because I think on his podcast he talked about how people were about to get on the wrong train, and the people was me. That was me. I was about to get on the wrong train because I was.
It would have been me too. It would have been me too. I live in Jersey, and every time I run the New York Marathon, I always go from MetLife Stadium, like, because it's one bus. It's like not a train to the ferry to the. I don't even know. Do you have to take a bus when you get off the ferry too?
Yeah, and it's long.
Oh,
it's like longer than you think. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. So you had a journey. You had a journey to get there,
But
and then you had a lot of time.
Moment was like so cool. Like the subway was cool, and then getting to the Staten Island ferry station, and just like there was so many people. It's like, how are there this many people just funneling through? And then getting on and going by the Statue of Liberty was so cool. I mean, it just was everything I expected that to be. It was super. I've seen it a million times. Like, I live in New York State. But it just was special that day. And then there was the Nike boat out there that had a cool thing on it. It was just, it was awesome.
Yeah.
And then the bus was like longer than I expected. And the guy I sat next to, just another testament to like how cool the running community is, sat next to this nice guy. He had gotten in through the lottery. It was his first time doing New York. And he noticed my water bottle is empty. I'm like, oh, this is a little bit longer than I thought it was going to be. He just gave me his extra water bottle. Like, just like such nice people.
So New York. Those are like the best race day vibes. I feel like that's what it's all about. Every time I'm in the village, or even on the bus, somebody's just offering somebody something else. I'm always offering people extra food because I always bring food, of course. I literally, I can't stop smiling because I feel like I'm living vicariously through you, having like done it, but also like you did it so recently. It's amazing. So when you got there, were you nervous or were you calm? Like, what were you thinking? Because I feel like I always have a moment where it hits you. I always have a moment where it hits me where I'm like, I block it out. And then when I get there, I'm like, okay, I forgot we have to run a marathon.
Like, all right, we got here. Now we have some work to do.
Like, oh, man.
Yeah, I was super nervous. I hung out in the Start Village with one of the other runners who fundraised through the same organization. So that was nice to have someone to hang out with. And he was in the same wave as me. So that was good. But, and it's just like everything takes so long. Like the bus ride was longer. You're waiting in the village. They call you and you hear the like, oh my gosh, they called me. I get to go line up. But then you stand in line and the speakers are so loud. You can't even hear yourself thinking. They're just talking in every language on repeat, whatever they're saying. I don't even remember. And you're just like, come on. And then even when you hear the start sound, the bang, it's still so long before you get there, at least if you're me. Back as many ways as I was. But it's like, it's so long. And then when you turn the corner and see the start line and you see people running, like, it was so cool. It was so cool. I was in the bottom of the bridge, which like I would have loved to have been on the top, but it didn't take anything away from the experience.
Yeah. I mean, I've never run on the bottom, but regardless of that, I feel like everybody says the same. Top of the bridge is cool, but people also always stop on the top, like right in front of you, to take pictures on the median thing, which I always find like one of these days I'm just going to eat it because somebody stops right in front of me and I'm not paying attention. I would love to run on the bottom of the bridge. I feel like that would be really cool, but it's regardless of where you are, it's such a surreal experience to start there. And I feel like the walk up to the bridge, like when you go under the toll plaza, sort of, or not the toll plaza anymore, but like, the tolls, the Easy Pass thing. It just gives me chills every single time. And then they do like the guns go off and they play New York, New York. And it's just crazy. Then so you get over the Verrazano and you're running into Brooklyn. What were you thinking then? Like, walk me through the first part of your race and then your mid-race moment where you realized, first of all, how did you realize while you were running? Mad props to you that you realized in mid-race that you raised over $30,000.
Oh my gosh. Well, that didn't happen till like almost the end. It was a wild moment. I'll get there. Here, let me walk through like the fun parts that I remember, because there was
Tell
so
me the
much.
fun parts.
But I
So
love, like,
much.
you go through Staten Island and the first sign you see when you get into Brooklyn is like, if nothing else, you made it out of Staten Island. Like, so you
Yeah.
start with a laugh. And then like the first turn that we took into Brooklyn, there's like just awesome music playing. One of those like giant, somebody set up like 7 speakers high with their tent, and the energy in Brooklyn, you know, I don't have to say it, is just
It's
off the
insane.
charts. I mean, it's just insane. I had my name on my shirt and people were like getting in my face and yelling, "I'm proud of you, Amanda." And I'm like, "Thank you, me too."
Oh, I love
But
it.
it was awesome. And I'm trying to think about like highlights. I had a moment like right before Williamsburg where I tripped on like one of
Oh my
those,
God.
you know, they're like the things that have the wires underneath them. And I just
Oh,
tripped because I
yes.
was looking for my friends. I knew they were going to be coming up soon. And I almost ate it. And when I caught myself, the crowd just erupted. Like, yeah, she didn't fall.
Wait, that's
So
amazing.
but like Williamsburg
They'll
was
cheer for
awesome.
anything.
I know they will. They will anything. Yeah, it was just like so much fun going through. I saw my friends around mile 8, which was awesome. You know, the halfway point is so cool. There's the big sign that says like you're halfway to bragging points.
Yeah.
Trying to
Yeah.
think about what else. And then when you make that turn into Manhattan and you hear the crowds, like you're coming off the
It's
silence
insane.
of the bridge and you hear those crowds, like no one can
Yeah.
describe what that is like. And I knew my family was somewhere around there too. So I was like looking for them, and it was just like so
That's the
exciting.
spot. That's the best spot. I say all the time that the Queensboro Bridge, everybody hates the Queensboro Bridge because it's obviously a little bit difficult. And the spot that you're in, like mileage wise, it's tough because you're like already kind of cooked. And then you have this big bridge to get over. And it's not like it's a half mile, it's like almost 2 miles. It's pretty long.
It's
Um,
longer than I thought it was gonna be, that's for
yeah.
sure. I did
Yeah.
this cool thing. I don't know if you've heard of this. There's this app called, oh gosh, I'm gonna forget what the name of it is. I'm gonna look it up. Where you can have your friends like record you a message. It's called Rally.
Oh,
So
I've
at
heard of it, but
every
I've never used
mile,
it.
it plays you a message. And it
Hmm.
was so cool. I will say it was so loud in New York that I couldn't hear 90% of
Yeah.
them. I think I actually heard like 4 of them. But one of them that I heard was on the Queensboro Bridge because it was so quiet. And it was my friend who's a runner but has never done a marathon. And he goes, "You're almost there. You're in the home stretch." And I'm like, "No, I'm not, you
No, I'm
liar."
not. I'm so far away.
You should have picked a
Oh
later
my God.
mileage.
Yeah, that is so funny. That's like also, I know I like my friends do that all the time, but it's like when you see somebody at mile 2 and they're like, "You only have 24 miles left." I'm like, don't say that. Don't say that. It's
Just keep your
horrible.
comments to yourself.
It's just yeah, that's so funny though, especially on the Queensboro when it's like you're just plugging along and it's so quiet. It's one of the only spots during the marathon. I typically actually take my headphones off in Brooklyn, but it's the Queensboro is when I actually turn my music off and I just listen to the footsteps because it's like the only period of quiet during the whole marathon. And then to your point before, like the turn into Manhattan is the craziest thing you'll ever experience in your entire life. One
It
of the
was
craziest things, in my opinion. It's just nuts. It's crazy.
It really is nuts. And just like that many people come out. At the event I had gone to the day before, one of our board members said, you know, New York is the city that doesn't sleep except on race day when everything else shuts down and we just come out to support the runners. I'm like, that's what it
Yeah.
is. This is like all these people here. It was so
Yeah.
cool. I saw my
Yeah.
family around like mile 17, which was so fun
Okay.
to see
It's
them.
a
So
good
my
spot.
husband, my parents came down with 2 of the kids, and yeah, it was really awesome to get to see them, stop for a hug, and it was a good
Oh.
spot. But then it's a long stretch. Right after then is when it started
Yeah.
getting real hard.
Yeah. What were you feeling? Like, what were your emotions like? Because I feel like for me, I'll have moments where I'm like at the beginning, obviously, you're like so jazzed and I'm like, I'm ready to go. And then if it's going really well, like I convince myself that I can't do something that I'm already doing. It's just a marathon thing, I guess. I don't know. But like, I'll be at like mile 25 and I'm like, I just can't possibly keep going. Like, this is it. It's over. You know what I mean? But like, what were you thinking? Like, did you have any moments where you're like, I could really give up right now? Were you like, I really want to walk? Am I Like, what was your fueling like? What were those feelings for you?
Yeah, I had a broad range of emotions,
Yeah,
which
me
I
too.
think everybody does running a marathon.
All the
I would say
time.
I smiled through most of it, just like the fun factor of just like high-fiving people and like hitting
Yeah.
the power-ups and like I smiled through most of it, but the moments when I wasn't smiling, I was hurting really bad.
Yeah.
I did really good with my fueling. I followed my plan of from my coach and really tried to stick to like really consistent pacing and starting off slower than I wanted to. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, it was just very emotional. And then coming
Yeah.
into like mile 21 when I did stop because I had to use the bathroom and I like regret it in hindsight because the one I picked had a
Fair.
long line and I'm like, oh, my official time was 5:02, but I would have made it under 5 if I didn't stop, but that's okay. But right around mile 21-ish, I saw people holding up a sign that said, "Go Amanda, go," or something like that. And I was like, "Oh, it's the first Amanda sign that I've seen the entire time." And then
Wow.
I'm like, "I know them." And it was the team from CPARF that came out to cheer me on,
Oh my
holding a sign just for
God.
me. And it was in that stretch where
That's
there's
so
just like not
cute.
a lot going on. So I ran over them and I gave them a hug. And that's when I realized that I had exceeded $30,000 in fundraising, which is like
Wow.
totally in my mind. I
Oh
never
my
in a million years
God.
thought that I would have
That
raised.
is so wild. And you were worried about 5.
I was like, I don't know. I remember like I put up a post the morning of like, you guys know I only had to raise 5, right? And again, and
Wow.
then I got all emotional and teary and I just kept going and kept going. And then when I hit the bridge going into the Bronx, that's when I had that moment of like, I don't think I can do this anymore. Like everybody around me was giving up. Everybody was
Yeah.
walking. And in my head, I was just like, I know that for some people, the walk run thing is a better approach. For me, I was like, I just don't want to stop. I want to
Yeah.
run because I
It's
know that if I
tough.
start walking, I'm done.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can do this. I can do this. And I saw this guy. I would guess he was maybe in his like 20s and he was walking on crutches and he
Wow.
was moving up that bridge. And I was like, oh my gosh, just like one of those moments of this is hard. Like, this is really
Yeah.
hard. And I'm really trying to do this, but like, look at this guy. And like, one day, would Miles be able to do something like this? And if he could, that could be him. And I
Yeah.
went down this like, and I got my second wind. And I just like, from there, it just felt like really hard. Like, the final stretch was
Yeah.
really hard, but it all felt doable. Like I just knew that I could
Yeah.
do it. And then
Yeah.
there was that woman. I read a lot of people saw this, like a lot of the posts that I follow on Facebook, but there was a woman holding a sign that said, "This is what believing in yourself looks like in the Bronx."
Wow.
And
Mhm.
I don't know who you are, lady, but you carried me through. And I'm not the only one because I have seen so many people post about that sign.
I hope we find her from you
I know.
saying
I love I
that.
just want
That's
her to
so
know she
awesome.
really moved people. It was a good one.
There's always that one where it's like, oh, wait, you're not trying to be funny, you're being serious. And then it's like, by some miracle, it's just what you need to see at that exact moment. I love those. Truly. They make the race so much more special. And I don't know, they make me want to keep going, you know?
Yeah.
And what was that? What mile were you at when you saw that? Do you remember?
I guess that must have been around mile 23. I'm trying to think. 24, maybe?
Yeah. It's when you need it, you know? That's a tough part. Tough part. How was it on Fifth Ave, the Fifth Ave mile for you? I feel like
Ugh.
everybody hates Fifth Ave. I hate Fifth Ave, so you're allowed to say you hate it.
It was just so painful because somebody told me in advance, like, just think of
Yeah.
it as like, a 5 mile run, then a 5 mile. You think of it that way. But the last
Mhm.
5 miles, hard.
Are
Because
hard.
you're like, the 5 miles usually don't feel this painful.
Yeah.
And I remember, I mean, I got to the point where I was like, I can't have another gummy thing ever again.
Oh,
Like, just
yeah. Yeah.
goo and the gum. Ugh. I was like, I just want like an egg sandwich, but I then couldn't eat when I was, once I was done.
When you're
But
done. Yeah.
But I just
Yeah.
remember that, like, oh, I just like, I know I need to put more things in my body, but I don't want to put any more things in my body.
I know. Sometimes you just gotta like when you hit that point, you just gotta power through. I don't know if that's even good advice, but or like I should be saying that, but that's what I do. Cause I'd rather just like not throw up and run with a lack of fuel for the last like mile and a half than like get sick in the last few miles. It's like my
Yes.
biggest fear. My biggest fear ever.
I was very afraid of that too, but I was like, I can do this. I can do this. I'm so close. And got to see my family again. They were probably around mile 24 when I saw them again. So I was like so close.
That's a great spot too. I love when
Yeah.
my friends always bounce around. Like they'll do Queensboro, then they'll go to the park. And then I have some people on Fifth Ave, typically that like that's their cheer zone that I know. And I always say on the pod, it's like the hardest part is the last like 5 miles of the race. So it's funny that you said that because it's true. It's so true.
It
It's
really
so
is.
difficult to stay in it mentally and physically is crazy.
And then I feel like I didn't like study the course well enough that like in the very end, I felt like I was so close, but so far away. Like I kind of thought like once I get into Central Park, like I'll just see the finish line and I'll be there. But no,
Yeah.
that's not
Yeah.
how it works.
It's true. I have a hot take actually because well I'm doing the hot lap this year for the pod and getting everybody's hot takes. But since we're mid episode, I'll share my hot take and then we can wait for yours at the end. But my hot take is that I don't like to look at the course map. So I don't
Ooh.
know. I don't know if that's I know. I don't like to see what's coming. Obviously it's hard and you know too, being from or living in New York, being from New York, like around this area, it's like, all right, well, I kind of know what's coming. But yeah, I don't like to look at the course map. So it's funny that you
Wow.
said that too.
Wow,
That you wished you
that's
studied it.
bold. That's
Yeah, I
bold.
don't know. It's probably just stupid. If we're being honest, it's fine. It's totally fine.
That's so funny because the half marathon that I did as my like training for this
Hmm.
happened to be in like the race was like on the road that I grew up on. So I knew the
Hmm.
road so well. Like I remember like biking it as a kid. And so
Yeah.
I felt like it was really to my advantage because I knew every hill, I knew every turn so well that
Hmm.
I've thought about that a lot. Like I felt like that was a really easy race for me. One, because I was like in the middle of training, but two, I knew it so well. So I don't
Hmm.
know. I don't know. I respect to you, Allie G.
I
I don't know if I could
listen.
not look at the map.
It's not smart. I'll say that much. But to your point, that's exactly why I go and I drive back to my hometown when I have like when I just need a mindless. I
Yes.
know this route. I don't want to make anything up. I don't want to have to like plan because a lot of the times I feel like when I do a long run like that, when I take the guesswork out of it, like it stresses me out beyond belief. Like if I'm not running in the city, in the park, or like in my hometown and doing that loop, or like at a park I know in Jersey, it really stresses me out to have to go for a long run because I hate having to figure out where to go. So I totally get
Mhm.
that. So it really does make no sense that I don't study the course map, but I digress. We'll
That's
see.
funny.
Maybe
That's
one
funny.
day. Maybe one day.
And I'll say too, like, oh wait, I have one more to make my case on this, and then again,
No, no, make your
is
case.
when I my worst run of my training run was when I was on vacation. It's because I didn't know where I was and I didn't know like what to
Yeah.
expect as I
See?
was planning. So I don't know. But you know what?
It's
You
stressful.
you do you.
It's did you have was there a run during that training block other than the one like on the road that you grew up on that you really liked or that stuck out to you?
I did a vacation on I was out in the Jersey Shore and I just did the boardwalk,
Shout
which
out
was
Jersey
it
Shore.
was flat. It was beautiful
Yeah.
weather. There was a slight breeze off the ocean. You're surrounded by all kinds of runners, like just
Yep.
motivation everywhere. So that was
Yep.
probably one of my favorite training runs, but you know, hard to top when you're oceanfront.
I know that's so true. I mean, you got me with that one because I'm a Jersey girl, born and raised. So, I love running at the beach.
There
it's,
you
it's in my blood. I love that. I absolutely love that. You said before that like before you started marathon training, you didn't know, like you didn't have the right shoes, you didn't have the right fuel, you didn't have, you didn't really know what you were doing. Like what did this whole experience teach you about gear, about your fuel, what works for you, what doesn't? Like were there specific things that stuck out?
Yeah, it's so important to have the right shoes. I mean,
Yeah.
I remember talking to my neighbor who I was saying is like such a awesome athlete, and he's like, running, all you really need is a pair of sneakers. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. You need sneakers, you need
Yeah.
fancy socks, you need to have a heart rate monitor, you need to find the right sunglasses. Like, I was like, it is not
Yeah.
a cheap sport. It is not.
Yeah. No.
But I went to one of those stores where they like size your feet and find out that I have very irregular shaped feet. Who knew? But I'm really glad that I did that and was able to get, the right shoes, because what a world of a difference
Yeah.
when you
No,
have
for
that.
sure.
But I
For
definitely
sure.
dealt with a lot of like aches and pains, lots of like plantar fasciitis and stuff like that throughout the training. So that was tough. And I had never even known anything about fueling before. So that was a lot to learn for sure.
Yeah. It's a tough one. Somebody told me recently to get a sweat test. And I never thought about that because you can tell like how much salt you need and how much like electrolytes and all the other things. So I feel like that's the one thing I feel like I always go back to is the fueling. It's so hard. It's so hard to master the fueling for sure. And it's
Mhm.
really hard when you first start. So kudos to you because it's really hard when you first start to like figure out what works for you and what doesn't. And when it doesn't work, it really sucks because you just
Yeah.
don't feel good. You
Yeah.
know, it's crazy. It's so
That's
crazy. I also saw on your Instagram after the marathon that, well, after Eric connected me with you, and then I saw your celebration posts. But before the marathon, you came up with this idea to open up your playlist and let people add songs, right?
Yes.
And what did you think people would participate in the way that they did? Like, were there songs that really hit close to home or hit hard while you were on the course? Because I know you can barely hear the music, but were there any that stuck out to you on race day?
Yeah. I let my friends build the list because I was kind of getting like bored of listening to the same Spotify playlist, what it was
Yeah.
putting together for me, although some really great songs on there.
Yeah.
And some of them were like complete surprises. Like one of my friends put on the Michael Bolton song, Go the Distance. Not my
Yes.
normal typical running song, but man, that one, like that felt good, like mid-race. Like that's a
Yes.
good song to hear. Um, and I got a lot of Lizzo, some good Lizzo jams on there. Um, yeah, it was just like fun. I mean, some of the songs some people recommended, I was like, oh, okay, I could see how this could work for you. A lot of New
Yeah.
York songs, of course, like New York Groove, Empire State of Mind, Welcome to New York, got a lot of those on there. But there were some really good ones. I finished the race to one of my favorite all-time songs, Queen, Don't Stop Me Now. And like
Yes.
I just
So
remember
good.
like that came on and it was just like the perfect timing. Like that came on and I was in that stretch where I'm like, I don't know if the end is ever coming. And then I saw the finish line. I started bawling. Somebody yells out, Amanda, don't cry. You're almost there. And it just was like a really good song to finish to, like really fun. But it was
I
really
love
cool. I
that.
had my friends' input on my music.
No, that's really cool. Did you know like which one of your friends added which songs, or was it like
A
a
lot of them
guess?
told me, like, I'm gonna do this one, I'm gonna do that one. So, yes, most of
Okay.
them I knew, but there were a couple of fun surprises.
Wow, I love that. I've never opened up my playlist to friends because I'm afraid they'll mess with me. So it's nice that that you have good, trusting friends in your
Oh,
group.
there's a few.
No, I'm
There's
just kidding.
definitely a few you get nervous of, like, what are they gonna put on here?
Yeah, yeah. No,
But
no,
it's
I'm just
funny
kidding.
too, because like, some that make you laugh.
I know. That's what my friends would do. And like, I would think it's funny, but then if I'm really struggling, I'm like, oh man, I got to switch this. I really got to switch this. No, that's really cool though. And such a creative way to kind of have people running with you. I feel like other than the rally app that you used, that's really cool
Really
too.
cool.
I've
I would
never
totally
used
recommend
it.
that. It's just hard to hear in New York course, but if I did a
I
quieter
know.
course, I would do it again.
I love it. I love it. All right. So you crossed the finish line of a New York City marathon. You weren't hungry, you said before. Didn't have an appetite to eat. What was your celebration like? Did you see your family right away? Did you see your kids? What was your thing? And
I
of course
did,
you're
yeah.
bawling. There's no way to not cry at the end.
So much
No way.
crying. There was so much crying, so much unnecessary walking to the finish to actually like get
Yes.
off of the course. But
The zombie
and
walk.
then and then when I got off, the subway I was gonna take was closed. And so I asked this group of guys, like young New Yorkers, I'm like, how do I get to? And I showed them the address. And they're like, oh, it's not that far. And I was like, are you kidding me? I am not
Yeah.
walking So I paid an insane amount of money that I'm embarrassed to admit out loud to take an Uber to meet my family at a bar, which was so much fun. Walked in, my little cheer squad was there, and we just hung out. I was not hungry, but I did have a beer, and it was just so awesome to be with everybody and get to see them before they had to take the train back. And then I spent a night by myself in New York City in Midtown. It was awesome.
Wow, that's recovery.
Yes.
If
Yes.
if I've ever heard it. I love that. Oh my God, that's so much fun. That's so much fun. And do you think you would do it again?
I swore no from the second that I crossed the finish line. I was like, done, can check that box, never again.
Never
And then I
again.
saw them post that the lottery goes live in, I think it's next week. It opens up in February. And I was like,
Yeah.
maybe just do the lottery. Only 2% of people get in, right? What are the chances?
Yeah.
All that
You
to
know you're gonna
say,
get in though.
I know
When
that's
you
what I'm
enter.
nervous about.
You know you're getting in.
All that to say, I would totally do it again. It was amazing. I don't know if I could do it anywhere else but New York because the crowds really, really carried me
Yeah.
through. But it
Yeah.
was a life-changing experience. It really was.
I love that. I love that so much. Well, before we wrap, because I really don't want this conversation to end because we're having so much fun. I feel like I'm in the presence of like the most cool person I've ever met. So
Oh my
thanks
God,
for
I
sharing
think I
your
might tell
story.
you said that. I'm not gonna start to be like, guess what I just heard.
And they're gonna be like, ha ha. That's what my friends do to me all the time. So, like I said before, I shared my hot take, but I'm doing a new segment called the Hot Lap because I feel like as I was recording these in the last year, everybody loved to share their hot take, but they were so afraid. And I was like, no, that's the point. Like there's no right or wrong answer. It's just something you feel really strongly about in running. Could be controversial, maybe not. Just, something overrated, underrated, misunderstood. What is your hot take?
So I think this may be a little cliche, so forgive me, but I think that you see all these influencers that are just doing it all, like they're working full-time jobs and they're being a parent and they're able to run and like do everything and like it's hard. It is hard to do this. It is hard to train for a marathon, period. It is so hard if you have any other factors going on in your life. And I just I think that's been a big reflection for me on this is like, yeah, I want to sit here and say like, you can do anything, but like, it's hard. And you know what?
Yeah.
You deserve that medal. If you can do it, you deserve it. And I know everyone's up against whatever challenge is making it difficult for them to train. So anybody that's out there doing it, they deserve a big high five.
I love that. I don't think that's cliche at all. I feel like everybody starts with the influencer but when you really think about it, it's like I said to my friends this morning, I don't have kids. I have 2 dogs and they're at my parents right now. Cause I live in an apartment and having 2 doodles in an apartment seems,
Oh, you have doodles.
yeah, they're so cute and I just love them so much. I miss them so much. My mom's like, you should let them stay with me for a little bit and they could have a yard. I'm like, all right, fine. You can tap the dogs for a minute, but they're coming back tonight. So I'm so happy.
Awesome.
But everybody talks about the influencers. And again, I just have dogs, but I was texting my friends this morning and I'm like, some days I really don't know how I fit everything in. And I am literally just training for a marathon and working and podcasting. That was on my to-do list today. And it's
ALLIEG,
just
that is
like
a lot of things.
you sit back, yeah, but you're like you have kids to go back to after we're done with this. So it's like I couldn't agree more. I really think it's so hard to balance things and balance time and you work a full-time job and you have kids and you're training for this marathon. It's a lot. So,
I just give credit to everybody that's out there doing it, conquering whatever their own challenges are. Because it's a lot. And I do, before I go, I have to give a huge shout out to my husband who was like #1 team Amanda in supporting me through all of this and was like, just like, go do your runs whenever you got to do them. We'll figure everything out. So had to big shout out to him, but
big shout out. That's the best shout out. Husband and Erica and Miles and all of the kids, everybody.
And my training partner, Mark. We can't forget him too.
Yeah. And shout out Mark. We love it. All the characters in today's episode. I love it. And finally, I promise I will let you go after this. But I'm also creating an ALLIEG show playlist, which is a compilation of songs for ALLIEG Show listeners that, hopefully they can listen to while they're running. And if not, they can just listen to for fun. So if you had one song to add to the playlist, what would you add?
I would have to go with Fabulous by CUT. It's a family favorite in my house, highly requested by my girls anytime we're in the car. Just like good, feel good jam. And then, of course, there's like the artists that could do no wrong in my mind, like Lizzo and Pitbull and Kylie Minogue and Bad Bunny. Just anything they sing is great.
I love it. I love it. Every one of those artists is already on my playlist, my personal playlist. So I can't wait to add your ex to our ALLIEG Show playlist. Thanks for sharing that. No, this has been the best time, Amanda. Thank you so much for sharing your story. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate your time. This has been so much fun. So if you want to tell people where they can follow along with you, feel free.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, I am on Instagram, amanda.d.palumbo, but I'm not super Insta active. I'm just there having fun, showing off pictures of my kids. But most of all, thank you. I had so much fun too, ALLIEG. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome anytime. I want to hear from you after your next marathon because I know you're going to run another one. And I know you're going to get into the New York lottery. I just know it. I just know it. I know it. No, but thank you again. This has been so much fun.
Thank you.
All right, ALLIEG Show fam, that's a wrap on today's track. Huge shout out and thank you to Amanda for coming on the pod and sharing her story so openly, from navigating Miles's diagnosis to training and turning to the streets of New York and making it all a full circle celebration of community and impact. If today's track resonated with you, take that energy with you into your next run, walk, lift, ride, whatever movement looks like for you this week. If you loved this episode, don't forget to subscribe, share, rate, do all the things, but definitely share with a friend or a training partner. It truly helps the show grow. You can find me personally on Instagram at AlexJGranada and the pod on Instagram at _ALLIEG Show. And while you're at it, I encourage you all to follow along with Amanda because she's the coolest and I love when pod fam supports everyone. As always, keep moving with purpose and trust the process. And remember, you are never running alone. I will catch you all on the next track of the ALLIEG Show. Bye.